the
I have a question for you.
land use director.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know what the right time we're gonna, so
Nah.
that is. So. When we had the deep freeze. I was driving through town, I kind of like noticed that there's. Like Lancaster Road is perhaps the worst offender when you're real close to heading south towards Lancaster. On the right hand side, just before you get to Stillman's, there's seepage.
Yep.
Water seeps out.
There's some on Leominster Road near Cherry Hill. There's some on Goodrich Street as you
So,
approach
Is
Lancaster.
that under the purview of stormwater to try and it gets, the reason to bring it is because it gets on the road when the weather conditions are right.
Mhm.
And in some years, it's been so bad that they actually have to put like caution
Yeah,
cones out there.
so no, it's not. That's a snow and ice issue for the DPW. It is a stormwater. It's not really an issue because I don't believe that it's stormwater. I think it's groundwater breakthrough.
Yeah,
And it just happens to be at the toe of slope, so it makes it onto the road.
yes, yeah.
I guess it could
Certainly a
be,
drainage issue.
it is, and it could be, it's not part of the MS4 system, which is what the Stormwater
Okay.
Task Force is.
Okay,
Once you take care of it by capturing it and conveying it, it then becomes part of that system, so yes. In the few years that I've lived here, it's been happening a little bit less, and the DPW seems to be more
Yeah.
proactive about it than they were when I first moved here.
yeah,
Most of these locations, from what I can tell, it's some groundwater and some snow or ice melt going over frozen ground, which is why
Yes.
yes, that's exactly right. And in the worst year, it strikes me as a hazard.
Yes.
It's also.
Oh, it's a wicked,
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
I mean,
Does
especially,
it make sense that there should be a permanent solution so that?
Well, and they've done that in the past, so there was an engineered solution on that, the farm along Lancaster. Before you get to
Yes.
Stillman's, that was the worst
Yeah.
offender for years, and
Yeah.
they engineered a solution there.
Violet's Farm.
Yeah, Violet's Farm,
Yeah,
they
That-
engineered
yes.
a solution there that really helped,
yes,
but.
And I think some of it is dependent on where it is, I mean, he had the land to do that.
yes,
So he was able to do it. Honestly, my experience, the Goodrich Street one is the most dangerous because that road's so narrow.
Yeah.
And it's the toe slope at a curve. So you're coming into a horizontal curve and there's anywhere from 6 to 24 inches of just ice width. And it's anywhere from, an inch to 3 or 4 inches.
yeah,
Lancaster and Leominster have something similar that gets bad. They tend to have a little bit more width. So yeah, I mean, I think that's probably something you could bring up with the DPW director, who's on the call.
okay,
I don't know that it's a task force issue, but it is something that
Okay.
it is
okay,
something that should get looked at, I think.
makes sense.
Mr. DPW Director, any comment?
Yeah, so, excuse me, it is something we are aware of, and yeah, we'll have to do drainage improvements in those areas over time, and we just don't have the funds to address them all at once. And then we were very proactive this year when we had the ice buildup. We went right out with the backhoe and, salt and took care of it, so we're trying to stay in front of it, but it's a process.
Okay,
Do you find some of those issues are difficult to address just because you're immediately adjacent to private property that isn't necessarily gonna change their grades or anything like that?
Yeah, that's part of the issue. So a lot of it is right where ledge is also, it just seeps out of the ledge. and
Yeah,
There's not much room to do anything there.
right.
yeah. Last question, has there been an incident or an accident in response or in relationship to, resulting from that?
Not
Anybody's
to
aware?
my knowledge, but it's my first winter here though.
Yeah, okay, just curious, that's the obvious thing that popped in your head is the hazard so bad that there's actually been accidents in response to that, so I was curious. All right, thank you.
All right. So let's move on to review and approve minutes, and it's just, what minutes did Daniel send?
Just the last meeting, because you'd approved everything up until then. At the last meeting,
So did everyone get a chance to approve the minutes?
Right there.
there is a copy on the table.
If you haven't looked at the minutes, why don't we just take a minute for everyone to take a look and see if they have any amendments, or if they're fine with approving those as presented. And that's the minutes for January 19th.
Yeah, I'll look them over. Oh, make the motion to approve.
Second,
Roll call vote. All in favor, Richard Tremblay,
Aye.
Matt Proctor, John Beal,
Aye.
Amanda Reed.
aye.
You. Motion passes. Minutes are approved. Any member updates? Seeing none. DPW Director, can you give us an update on your data collection?
All right, so the biggest change you're gonna see on the spreadsheet is I got the hourly cost of equipment. So I put some columns in there for the equipment too, and I've also put in all the drainage work we did in January. Which, as we talked about, it was a little less, right? There was a lot of snow in January, so not much drainage work, but a couple times after the snow, we did go out chasing catch basin covers, make sure everything's open, so. And then on
Okay.
the other spreadsheet, which is contractors that we used, there was only one update on that. It was CEI sent the bill for some of the work they've been doing, so.
Okay. And any questions from the members regarding this information?
Is there a
I
reason the
I have a quick
year-to-date
question, sir.
expenses-
Go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to just clarify. I was looking at the labor and equipment costs, the spreadsheet that you did for maintenance and repairs. So I'm just looking across the top line, and it says under the comments, a new grate on the catch basin. Is that accurate?
Correct, yeah, they went out and changed the grade. Sometimes they break, they crack.
Yep, I understand. Does this spreadsheet show the cost of that grate anywhere?
It does not.
Where would I
That might have
find that?
been, that might have been something we had in the yard.
Oh, okay, okay, so
Yeah.
we didn't buy it, we had it in stock, more or less?
Correct.
Okay. I'm good, thank you.
Okay. I think this is fantastic, and I think we just keep collecting this data and just mark our progress through the year. I'll be very interested to see how this data progresses.
Yeah,
through
I have
the,
one
spring.
question.
Go
So
ahead,
the year-to-date expended under the stormwater management's projects, is that supposed to be the sum of the purchase amounts of the 3 line items below it?
Which one are we looking at? I'm sorry.
Okay, so the stormwater management project spreadsheet, which is, that's the title of it. And then there's a total revised budget of 123,000, year-to-date expended is 12,726. And I guess I don't see where that 12,726 comes from, because there's 3 line items below it, and they don't add up to the 12,726. Is that supposed to add up to 12,726?
It is. Where did I go wrong there?
The drainage does add up to 1252 up above. So it seems like something might be missing, maybe.
Yeah, there must be a line missing. Trying to find.
That would be my guess.
Line missing or hidden?
Or you misentered the
There-
amount.
There is a line missing. Yeah. I don't know why. I have it on my spreadsheet, but what I printed out, it's not there. Oh, maybe, you know what? Maybe it's a printing error. There is
Okay.
another line, it's CEI again, and it was for $7,000, right? Are you seeing that?
No, we have the 7,039.42.
Okay, there's
We
two
have
more
the new-
lines. There's actually
Okay.
2 lines that aren't there. Oh, and this is important to talk about. One of them was for $1,500 for Lakeview Landscaping. And we had them go over to Hickory Lake and clean out all the plunge pools that were put in a few years ago.
Mhm.
And the other one was almost $3,900 for CEI again. That's missing. I'm sorry about that. I don't know how that happened.
Okay.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. Okay,
Dumb question, but
yeah, good question.
so.
It's shown on the digital version though?
It should. It should.
Okay, because that, everyone did receive
Yeah.
that by
So
email,
it's on
so
the Excel spreadsheet.
you do have the data somewhere.
Okay,
So the town pays to clean out Hickory Hills plunge pools?
Well, they're plunge pools that service the roads.
Okay,
So the roads drain to catch basins to plunge pools. So the plunge pools are technically our problem because we've installed them and there are drainage.
okay, I didn't know that. That's.
Am
nice.
I incorrect in
I'm a
that,
big
Bill?
fan of that.
That is correct.
Okay.
okay. Any other questions?
No.
Seeing none, let's move on to our ongoing items. Adam, can you give us an update on the asset management?
Yeah, we had our kickoff meeting for the asset management grant. We met the team from CEI that'll be working on that. Right now, they're in the process of doing data shakedown for
Mhm.
themselves to get an idea of where they are. They were reaching out to Bill to coordinate with him to have a DPW employee, most likely Joe Krogan, the crew chief, go around with them and just sort of look at some of the stuff, identify what they're doing. They'll be mapping all of the pipes and looking to get inverts, elevations, and materials, and if possible, condition, and putting that all into GIS data. So they're gonna start that probably April, Bill, is that what they said?
Believe that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah, so and then, so once everything starts to clear up, you'll see them out on the roads here and there. And then we're wrapping up, I think October is when they're gonna plan to have it wrapped, Bill.
Yes.
Because it needs to be done by the end of the calendar year.
At the kickoff meeting, did they have any ideas regarding the BMP demonstration project?
They didn't, that's actually a separate thing. So the asset management grant is just a data collection and presentation thing. We didn't end up meeting with Nick about the demonstration BMP. And I think, what was brought up here, either Marshall Park or the high school were kind of where Bill was leaning, and I think where I was leaning.
Yeah.
And I'll let Bill give you the details, but it certainly seems like they're looking to do one of the less expensive options. Based on
Yeah,
the current budget and the capital situation that we're in.
sure.
And I think the design is where we're gonna struggle, because that's where the cost is gonna be the highest. I know,
That may be something, because it's stormwater infrastructure, that we can consider submitting for ARPA funds.
that might actually be a good use of that.
So if we have an idea and we think it might be a little pricey, and that might be an efficient way to get it done. Because then we don't have to go through town meeting and get the funds appropriated.
Yeah, and that, and I don't wanna speak for Bill, I think personally, a rain garden would be I don't wanna say the best, but it looks nice. And people would be attracted to it, and if you did something like that at the high school, I'm sure there's a place where it could be A, functional, and B, very visible.
Right.
I know, we've got a couple of houses over on Holman Street that they're trying to secure tri-parties with the planning board in order to be able to get certificates of occupancy to close. And so they had rain gardens installed, or were supposed to have rain gardens installed. And it's, about $8,000 of construction cost, but the design cost, I think, is really the significant portion.
And the demonstration project is part of being the MS4 permit.
That's correct. It's a requirement of, is it year 5? So by the end of year 5, it needs to be installed.
So that would be which,
We're in year 4 currently.
okay, so next fiscal year.
Correct.
Okay.
No. We're in year 5. Aren't we? Because it's 2000, so.
Well, even if we end up being late with it, I mean, it is.
No, okay, no, it started in 2018, which was fiscal year 19, so we're in
Yeah.
year 4.
Okay. So fiscal year 24 is.
Yeah.
We need it done by then,
Yes.
so that's something I can bring up, at the select board.
It's a good thing you guys didn't spend all that money at the last meeting.
You're right, I agree. All right, so that's it for ongoing items. Anything else, on an ongoing item?
No, that's all I have. I don't know if Bill has any more.
Okay, any ideas for items for next meeting?
I don't.
Okay, then we'll just, if we don't have any items for next meeting, I think maybe, if everyone's open, maybe we take a month gap and meet again in April. And we'll have some more on the agenda for them. Otherwise, and we'll just keep, Bill, just keep collecting the data that you are, so we can give us an update in April.
So what I'll say is I think maybe we should keep the idea of the meeting in place in case there's something that needs action by the committee.
Okay,
And by the 8th, I'll let everybody know that we do or don't.
okay, so, do we anticipate CEI going back to the structural BMP would be the engineer for the demonstration BMP? Or would that be another firm that we'd have to hire out?
I think they could do it. They've done some concept designs, correct, Bill?
They did,
For-
yep, and produce some
They have-
preliminary cost estimates.
Yeah, if they could provide preliminary cost estimates and you guys could transmit that to me, I can bring that up with the select board,
Okay.
put on our agenda to let them know this is something we'd like to do and, you know, at least get underway so we can, you know, meet the permit, continue to meet the minimum requirements. That way we can see if we want to either put it on, you know, town meeting or a special town meeting. So yeah, so maybe we'll keep the March meeting because I think we could squeak an item in for a town meeting if we wanted to. For funding, if we want to go that way.
Okay,
We'll see how the
ARPA,
select board
yeah.
reacts to ARPA funding.
Mhm.
Because it's not a huge dollar amount, but it's something that, or if they want to, you know, push it off till special town meeting, just realizing that, the window will be getting short by then. All right, so that means our next meeting date would be March 16th. Any comments from the committee?
I have one comment, just thinking about, to protect the rain garden, what's
Yep.
gonna set up. And it'll be a super small line item. But is there any way to involve the horticulture program at the high school for the plants for that,
Absolutely.
right?
I mean, that would make
Them
so
involved,
much
get them
sense.
involved,
Yeah.
Growing something, everything to go in that.
Yeah, I mean,
You
either
know.
growing it or being involved
With the
in
planting?
planting it or being
Yeah.
involved in long-term maintenance of it. And I think that's exactly what the intent of this is to use it to show people that there's different ways to handle this stuff and have it in a visible place that draws people in. And that can, I mean, the education component for the students is huge. Never mind everybody else who comes to the high school for whatever other things they're gonna do.
Right.
Good.
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment.
Go ahead, Richard.
All right, thank you. Just a question, is it possible for this committee to have any kind of cloud storage within the town for meeting minutes or agendas, these ongoing projects, the spreadsheets we got this evening, things of that nature? Is that something that's reasonable or
Yes.
unreasonable?
Yes,
Yeah, I'll talk to the, well. It should be, I don't wanna say definitively yes, cause I'm not in the IT department, but I know the planning board has a drive that is accessible to people who have the .gov addresses. So it would we would put stuff up in there, and I can send you links from there, and you'd have access to it.
Yeah, right, you could upload all the meeting information and we could have easier access to it. The other question I had was training. Is there any kind of mandatory or maybe recommended training that the committee members of the board should have once a year or something? I
None
don't
that
know
I'm-
the answer.
None that I'm aware of. It's so different than something like conservation or planning where you're a regulatory board. There's lists of training longer than I am tall for stormwater, but a lot of it is practical application of, stormwater inspections, BMP design, BMP management.
Do you think you could put together a list of resources?
Yeah, the Central Mass Stormwater Coalition is a great one.
Right.
Which we're a member of. They have all sorts of, information. They meet regularly. They do some trainings, but again, it's mostly staff oriented. And if you go to their meetings, it tends to be DPW directors, planners, town engineers, conservation agents, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So and it's not that you can't go. We had a select person who went previously, but I think sometimes the content and discussion is more technical.
Okay.
Richard, for the next meeting, do you want to review the Central Mass Stormwater website and then report back on the resources you find? And what you think may be valuable to the committee members?
Central Mass Stormwater website?
Yes.
If there are resources for us, okay, I can do that.
Fantastic, thank you. All right, any other comments? All right, then seeing none, I will accept the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call vote, Richard Tremblay,
Aye.
oh, you were muted. Aye.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, aye.
Amanda Reed,
Aye.
Matt Proctor, aye. John Beal,
Aye.
and aye for me. We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.
Right.